Hello, my name is Miranda and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to teach you how to make the easiest crochet project you've ever made, which is a scarf. And because I love all things pastel, of course we're going with the pastel. A lot of people have asked me, what are you going to start wearing once it's winter? This is my winter look. If you are new here, make sure you hit the subscribe to see all different crochet videos and tutorials, as well as follow along to the projects I'm working on. The pattern is available on my website, craftymamamir.com, and details everything you need to know from brand of yarn, how much yarn to buy, size hook, etc. So if you've been wanting to learn how to crochet, I can promise you this is my most beginner-friendly pattern and works up very quickly. So if you're interested in learning how to crochet and want to support a small business, head over to my website and let's get started. To start off with your scarf, you're going to take your yarn, and we're going to be using 2 strands, but as they are one for this pattern. And so what you're gonna do is you're gonna lay it across your hand and we're gonna wrap around your finger twice. You're gonna take your left loop and pull it over your right, but still keep it on your finger, and then take your left and pull it over the right and pull it down. This will create a slip knot, which you'll put your hook through and you'll pull on that tail end to tighten. From here, we are going to do our chain stitches. The amount of chain stitches that you need to cast on is available in the pattern if you wanna check that out. But to do a chain stitch, you're basically pulling the bottom string over the top. But for this, we don't actually need to grab it with our fingers. We're going to grab it with the hook. So you're gonna hook under that yarn, and you're gonna go underneath. So if you can see here, just like that. A different option, if you're having trouble with that, what you can do is you can wrap it and bring it over. You can wrap it and bring it over. Wrap and bring over. The only thing is whatever you do, you should do it consistently. You can see there's a little bit of change in how we did it. So I'm gonna go back and do it all this way, but as long as you cast on your chain stitch using the same technique, you are good to go. So I will meet you at the end. Once you get to the end of your chain stitch, what you're going to do is you're going to skip one, and then we're gonna start back in on the second stitch in. The reason we do this is then your project can jump up to the next row and it doesn't scrunch at that end. So the stitch we're going to be using for our scarf is a single crochet rib stitch, which is the same stitch used in my pastel blanket and Camp Arlo blanket. So we're gonna skip the first and we're gonna go in. If you can see, each stitch is that V. So we're gonna go in the top side. So it'll only go in the top side of each one of these chain stitches. So you're gonna go under, loop, back, and you should have 2 on your hook, loop, and back. So it's under, loop, back, loop, back. And so we will go all the way, and this is just for the chain stitch. So we're going to go under, loop, back, loop, back. Under, loop, back, 2 on your hook, loop, back. So I'm going to continue doing single crochet all the way down, and I will meet you on the other end. So we're going to do the last single crochet, and then what you're going to do at the end of each row is you're going to add 1 more chain stitch. So we're going to loop and go under before flipping our work. Again, this allows us to jump up to the next row. So then what we're going to do is, you can see we have our chain stitch, so we're gonna skip our chain stitch and then go into the next stitch. And so what we're going to do is, if you can see the top here, you can see all the V's. Hold on, let me hold it better. So you can see here at the top, we have all of these V's, and we're gonna go into the back loop only. So we're gonna go under the back part of the V, loop, back, 2 on our hook, loop, and back. So we're gonna continue doing single crochet in the back loop only, and we will do this down the entire length of our scarf. And then when we flip on the next side, we will do single crochet in the back loop only, but that time we will be flipped, and so it'll work on a different side. This is gonna give your scarf such a fun texture, and it'll build up really quickly. So for the next amount of rows that are in the pattern, you're just gonna do single crochet rib stitch, and I will meet you once we are done with the bulk of our scarf to show you how to do the tassels. This pattern does require you to use multiple skeins of each color. So now I'm going to show you what to do when you run out mid-project, which will happen 2 to 3 times. What I like to do is I keep this about 6-ish inches there, and I'm gonna tie on the color that we need to add in, and you're gonna get that knot as close to the stitch as possible, and we're gonna do a square knot. So that means that this side will go over the first time, and then that same string is gonna go over and under like that. What we're going to do is you're gonna do the same single crochet, so we're gonna go under, but now we're gonna lay these tail ends over the hook, and then we're gonna loop and go back, loop and go back. So what we're doing under, and you're laying those ends over, and you're just doing the stitch, and we're gonna crochet over the ends, and then that way we don't have to weave in anything.
I want to watch Mickey Mouse.
We can watch Mickey Mouse. But you will continue on until you get all the way over the tail ends. And then after you're finished with your scarf, you can clean up the little ends if they stick out. When you get to the end of your blanket, you are going to do one last single crochet. And then what you will do, oh, I also like to pull that, my last stitch a little tighter on the outside as well as the chain stitch, just so you don't have ends that go super wide. If your scarf is starting to go wide, maybe don't do the chain stitch in between, and that might help. Likewise, if you are too scrunched at the bottoms, then you can do 2 chain stitches when you switch. But then what you're gonna do is, we already did our chain stitch, and then as long as you do a chain stitch after, then you can cut your string and pull it through, and then we will add the tassels. Cut it whatever length you think your tassels are gonna be, a little longer if you want, and then you can trim it, and then you just pull that nice and snug. So now I will show you how to add on the tassels. Grab just a regular tape measure. It does not have to be anything fancy. And these do not have to be perfect either, which is what I like about the tassels. When I do them, I don't even actually measure, but what you're gonna want is about 17 to 18 inches long strands of yarn. So what you're gonna do, so you see it's at 18 is right here. So we'll go 1, and then just fold it over, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Also, I'm only using 1 of the strands of yarn for that, so you'll have 5 strands in the yarn, and I don't cut the loops until all the tassels are on. So after you have it to 18 inches 5 ways, we're gonna grab our scissors, and then what you'll do is fold it over in half. From here, we're going to put the tassels in kind of in between these rows. So you can see that these are the rows. So we'll do 1 on this side, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6th one right here. So what you're gonna do is you're going to take your hook and put it through, and this is just a nice way to grab it, and you will grab your tassel, and then what you're going to do is I believe this is a slip knot, yep. And I'm going to also pull the tail end in with it when I go. And then you will just gently pull it. You don't want to just pull it all at once because you don't want to stretch your scarf out. But there is your first tassel. Maybe I would weave this in. You can either decide to weave this in on the side if you want, or have it down. I think I'll probably actually end up weaving it back up through this way. So for both sides, I'll weave this color up that way. But now we're gonna just continue on and do all of our tassels. It's important to make sure that you pull through all the same way, so keep your scarf laying flat. Once you finish doing all of your tassels, what you're just going to do is go through and find all of the loops and cut them like this. You can opt to use a fabric cutter and to cut them straight, but I like the uneven ends a little more, but it is up to you. But I'm going to finish the other side, and then I'll show you the final scarf. And here is the final scarf. So if you've been wanting to learn how to crochet but don't know where to get started, make sure you hit the subscribe here, head on over to my website and check out the pattern. And as always, follow along for more parts.